We're in the waterfront city of Montevideo, Uruguay. It's a beautiful place, and I just love hanging out by the shore, watching people fish and drink yerba mate. But we also heard that Uruguay can be really expensive. So let's see what things cost here. We've heard from so many travelers that Uruguay is one of the most expensive places they visited in all of Latin America. So we're going to check out the prices of goods and services here in Uruguay's capital of Montevideo. And then we'll also compare them to the costs in the smaller touristy town of Colonia del Sacramento, about 2.5 hours away. We're going to give all of our prices in US dollars, but we pay for everything here with either the local currency of the Uruguayan peso or with credit cards. First, let's talk about getting around the city using buses, taxis, and ride shares. We couldn't seem to get an Uber here. We tried twice, but the app just kept looking for drivers without ever allocating us one. So we gave up and started taking taxis instead. A 15-minute taxi ride cost about $6 or $7 US. We paid for our taxi rides with the Uruguayan peso, but the drivers told us that they also accept credit cards. Buses cost us 55 pesos per ride, and so we just gave the driver cash and they gave us change. The buses were really easy to figure out using Google Maps. I did find the signs with street names on them to be quite interesting because they had advertising on them. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like that before. Unlike most of the countries we visit, we didn't get a physical SIM when we arrived here. That's because as we were on the ferry into Uruguay, we received a text from Claro, our service provider in Argentina, that we could buy a roaming package in Uruguay for about $7.50. So we just did that instead. Now, let's talk about restaurants. This is probably where we really started to notice why people say that Uruguay is expensive. When we first arrived, we went out for what we thought was a simple lunch, and the bill ended up coming to $40. We did notice that the restaurants in Montevideo seem to give a discount if you pay by credit card, though. Our restaurant bill was originally about $45 when we first got the bill, but then because we paid by credit card, it came out to about $40. The restaurants here seem really interesting to me, though. I really loved the way the ones in the Mercado del Puerto were all set up. They looked really inviting to me. Grocery stores also seemed really expensive to us, especially after coming from a month in Buenos Aires. We were seeing almost $6 for a dozen eggs. Bread was $3.45 a loaf. Even a bag of store-brand pasta was $1.60. Chris did find his favorite treat, though.
86 pesos for dulce de leche. Actually, I just found the quote dulce de leche. It's 70 pesos.
We heard from expats in the area that visiting the outdoor markets can be a cheaper place to get groceries. We found one in the Positos area where a dozen eggs was $4.60, which is $1.40 cheaper than what we saw at the grocery store. The markets also sold plenty of fruits and vegetables, flowers, and even some household goods. On Sundays, Rodo Park has both a food market and an artisan market where you can buy all kinds of clothing and other goods.
These are purses for yerba mate.
One thing I noticed about Montevideo is how prominent the yerba mate culture is here. Everywhere we went, we saw people with their mates, with their straws, with their thermoses full of water. I loved seeing it so much and got so into it that I started asking people if I could take their photos with the yerba mate. You can buy your mate to hold your beverage in so many places in Montevideo, and the prices can vary quite a bit, though we saw a bunch in the $20 range. We heard from locals that the best mates or cups to buy are the ones made out of calabaza or squash. When we were looking at rental prices in Montevideo, we found that apartments started at about $600 a month and could go up quite a bit from there depending on size, location, and amenities. Short-term rentals can be double or triple that, and we found that 3-star hotels in the more touristy areas were starting at about $80 per night. For entertainment, there is a lot you can do for free in the city. Ciudad Viejo, or Old Town, has cool streets to walk down, plazas to check out, and street art that I really liked. Montevideo also has plenty of beautiful parks and places to be by the water. Now let's talk about visiting Colonia. Taking an intracity bus on the coach bus lines between Montevideo and the cute little city of Colonia del Sacramento costs about $14 for a one-way ticket. We noticed that the cot bus we were on seemed to have a lot more legroom than the buquebus bus for less cost. Colonia is a former Portuguese settlement filled with cute cobblestone streets, places to buy souvenirs, and artist markets. I can't seem to stop myself from buying bracelets. Whenever I get to a market, I just have to have one. This particular one, the guy talked me into because I was looking at them, and he told me that the amethyst was the official stone of Uruguay. So by saying that, he talked me into buying it, and now I have a new bracelet. You can go up to the lighthouse for about $1 and explore the remains of the old town wall and the castle area for free.
This is a drawbridge, and under it would have been a moat.
But the prices here seemed even higher than Montevideo. We saw bread here for $4 a loaf, and our one night, very basic hotel room in Colonia was almost $100 for the night. I can see why travelers say that Uruguay is more expensive than other places they've visited in Latin America. For us, coming from Buenos Aires, we really had to adjust our price expectations and our spending. But Uruguay is definitely worth visiting, with its beautiful waterfront cities, cute little towns, and of course, the yerba mate culture. And that's our video for today. We will see you in the next one.